Grand Rising, happy Monday. Manifesting Mondays, every single Monday and Friday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You want to learn about manifestation? Listen to this. If you want to learn how to attract and magnetize your greatest life, then listen to this morning. Grand Rising, everybody that's coming in. Hi. So I found a quote yesterday that I wanted to read, because as always, I'm always starting lots of new books. I don't ever finish them, but I just start and just open up to where I meant to open it. So, what's up? The book is called The Inner Work. It's a good book, but I'm like jumping around in here. Guys, do not ask me about anything that's going on in the Middle East. Do not ask me. This is all part of the trap, and I don't understand what it's going to take for people to understand that this is all that it is continued separation. If you want to know what my thoughts are, listen to my previous post, because I'm definitely not talking about it. So, yes, currently reading Karen. Thank you. The Inner Work. Yo, you're always in here helping me. Thank you. Okay, so I opened the book to page 11 or 10. Everything can be taken from a man but one thing. The last of human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. So, okay, good. I'm glad that I answered it. Obviously, it gets me a little twisted. You can see that I was just like, listen. So again, everything can be taken from a man but one thing. The last of his freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. To choose one's attitude in any given circumstances. Of course, that has everything to do with how our reality unfolds. We can choose our attitude no matter what is going on. So again, because of this war consciousness, I spoke about that in my video that I posted last night or whenever that was. This is exactly what they want, is to take over the human mind. But we do have the choice, regardless of our programming, in any circumstance, we do have the choice of how we are going to face that problem or situation. We have the choice of what emotion, which is energy in motion, that we are going to use to charge towards what's happening in our reality. Because the way that reality is shaped and molded is that it all happens in the mind first. So if there is war going on outside of you, if there is something unfavorable that you don't like in your three-dimensional reality, your attitude towards that is going to shift your reality. So if you don't like it, you have the choice of how you're going to look at it and then how you're going to send back that energy in motion, because something within all of our consciousness created the current reality that we're in. Not nobody, but a lot of people don't want to face that. I've been getting hate mail for the last 2 weeks. Because I say this stuff and people think it's spiritually bypassed and all this other shit, but that's not the truth. If something is happening in our three-dimensional reality, there's something in our consciousness that is matching that frequency that has co-created it. Neville Goddard says, everything is you pushed out. Everything in your reality is reflecting back to you what you believe to be true about yourself, or the world, or whatever it is, right? If I believe that the world is a dangerous place to live in, I can't go anywhere, I can't go for a walk, I can't do this, I can't do that because I'm in fear that something's going to happen to me, that energy, that emotion, that energy in motion is the only thing that you can get back to you. It's just a boomerang. What you throw out comes back to you. So if your energy that's in motion is one of fear and you're throwing fear out into the universe, that is all that can be reflected back to you, is more fear. You mean how rapture was impacted into Christianity so that bigots can support Israel? I guess. Yes, Kat. What's up, mommy? Kat, I love when I see you in here because it just makes me think of Tulum and how much fun we had together. But that is emotions, is energy emotion. So what emotions am I waking up with today? I'm tired. I don't feel great. I have a headache. Victim, victim, victim. So if you're throwing victim shit out the window, that's all that's going to come back and stick on your walls. Your walls. I am doing great today. You do you, Krystal. Don't let your frequency be changed by the naysayers and the negative. So that a lot of times I don't, like, over the past, year, I guess, that we've been together, like doing this stuff and everything, like my frequency has absolutely changed. I know that for a fact, right? I know that I really don't allow things to bother me. And sometimes I worry about it. I'm like, am I just, so I went to my energy practitioner last week, and I was telling her about this. I'm like, I just feel that I'm feeling a lot less. She's like, I don't think you're feeling less. You're just able to choose what energy field that you really want to be in. You're just able to choose, and you're able to observe, which I talk about a lot, just able to observe what's happening and then assess how you want to feel inside about it. Instead of going into meltdown mode or going into panic or fear all the time, I'm able to instead assess the way that I feel and then say, would it make sense for me to allow this to bring me down? And then there's some things that happen in our reality that we're, like, sometimes we just can't help it because it feels like so much is going wrong, or there's so much suffering going on, and how could you ignore it? And I don't think that it's ignoring it. I think that it's being able to assess. I think Johnny's in here, and Johnny would be able to speak on that too, about assessing how you feel before you actually feel it. Assess the situation rather, instead of just going right away into an emotion. Thanks, John. 2020, I stood out like a sore thumb. People were not happy that I was living my best life, but that's exactly what we did and continue to still do. Vortex aligning, that's what she says. And 2020, that's what I did too with my mother. We were out every single day while people were scared to death and wearing masks and plastic bags over their friggin' whole body. We chose to live in a different space. And what happened? I just lived in a good space while people, again, ridiculed and mocked and said you're going to die, or people are going to die from the things that you're saying. But we literally create our own reality, and it's not like some new thing. Like, there's Tony Robbins has been around for 1,000,000 years. There's so many people have been talking about this type of stuff, just using different language for a very long time. And now suddenly it's like, this is all new age nonsense. Like, it isn't. It isn't. The I am was mentioned in the Bible so many times, because that's all that we are, is our I am. I am. What comes after that? If anybody wants to comment, I am. What do you believe to be true about yourself? I am unlucky. I am not worthy. I am not wealthy. I am not pretty enough. I am not skinny enough. How many people's I amness is so on point that you literally believe in the depths of your soul that this is who you are? It's not like who I really want to be, because your conscious side of you can say, I'm so confident, I'm so beautiful, or whatever it is. But underneath of all those layers, in your roots, is, oh, I love that. Anne said, I am healing. So that's amazing, because sometimes when people wish to attain a certain kind of state of mind, it's very foreign to them. I am a millionaire. For some people, it's like, oh my God, that's so far away. And you put this idea on a pedestal and it becomes so much bigger than you that you'll never be able to attain it because you don't believe that you can. Because deep inside, I'm not worthy of that money. I'm not worthy to be paid this X amount of dollars to have this salary. So figuring out your I amness is the first step that we need to create change, because your I amness isn't, I am at peace. Julie says, I love that. But your I amness is deep underneath all the layers. Who are you? Who am I? And when we're really honest with ourselves and we can write that down, say your I am statement, I am enough, Karen says. Say your I am statement is, I am not worthy. Okay, great, you figured that out. Where does the unworthiness stem from? I am living my best life, love it. But where does, let's see, unworthiness, where does it stem from? It's good. I am worthy of helping others and living in joy and abundance. Beautiful. If we have the negative belief system, that is our programming, right? You had parents that fought all the time. Maybe I'm not the priority because all your parents did was fight, and you never had people making you a priority. So maybe people show up in your life for you as not choosing you as a priority. So I am not a priority. What is the underlying story behind that? Where in your life did you not feel like you were prioritized? So figuring all those layers out will help create and facilitate that change. What is the story? Because a lot of us walk around with unworthiness, not chosen, not prioritized. I am poor. I am a victim. I am sick. Maybe you had a mother or a father that always complained about sickness all the time. So that's always in your brain. You're always afraid that you're going to be sick, right? Inner child work, Anne says. And it is. It's all where it stems from, is our childhood, right? And when we go back on those layers, find out what your I amness is, and then move backwards from there. What is the story that I've created from my true I amness? One part of my I amness is, or was, money is hard to come by or money is hard to make. So around, and I've told this story before, but around this whole story about money is hard to make, I created an entire life based on that true belief or that core belief, based on that part of the I amness of me. And I became a dancer. Right out of high school, I was a dancer. Making no money. Danced for the NBA, Philadelphia 76ers. And my life then continued with that belief that money is hard to make, money is hard to come by. And I continued to dance. I continued to make almost no money. But my story was built around money is hard to come by, money is hard to make. Because I listened to my parents my whole life fight over money. Finances, they fought over finances almost every day for all of my childhood. So how could I possibly have an abundance mindset if I grew up with that being the story that was told to me? You literally can't until you decide to change it. Which in the last several years, I totally shifted my story. I was taught that way too, but my parents turned it around for themselves. That's fortunate, Mare. That's really great. Can't say the same. So it's all about finding out our I amness and then what the story is that we can walk backwards from there. Because then and only then is when we can change things. Because if you walk around every day and just say, I am beautiful, I am loved, I am chosen, that helps a little bit, right? That helps with reprogramming. But if you don't know the real reason of why you think the way that you do, how could you change it? It's like, my tire is flat, but I don't know how to change the tire. I'm just going to try and figure it out and hope for the best. You need to know how to change the tire. You need to know if you have to take the bolts off or whatever you have to do to change the tire. The same way to change your mindset. You have to know why you think this way, why you believe this way in order to make the shifts. So I'm going to read more from the inner work, and then I'm going to read a little bit from my journal. So there's a reason why specific issues continue to resurface no matter how many times we feel we have resolved them. This is just what I was talking about. These energetic imprints or patterns of similar situations, people, challenges, circumstances, thoughts, and feelings are all clues to an underlying theme of consciousness, which our soul is begging us to break free from. In a sense, no matter where we go or what we do, we always bring our problems with us like a shadow. This is because all struggle with life is intrinsically rooted in our own consciousness and could never be caused by something or someone outside of ourselves. How many times do we blame people for showing up a certain way? I keep picking the same type of partner. Every guy I date is the same, just in a different body. Every girl that I date always does this to me. No matter where you go, your shit is going to follow you. It doesn't matter how far you travel. It doesn't matter if you go somewhere else to find happiness. Happiness starts in here. So if we constantly find ourselves in a pattern of always manifesting the same type of job where you don't get paid enough or that you're underappreciated, if you constantly keep attracting partners that are not faithful to you or you're always left all the time, that is a result of your own thinking. The struggle with life is intrinsically rooted in our own consciousness and could never be caused by something or someone outside of ourselves. I know so many people that blame their partners for the way that they treat them. This person treats me like shit. I'm never appreciated. There is something within your energy, your emotion, which is your energy in motion, that is putting that out into the world that can only be reflected back to you. So if your partner doesn't treat you right, they're verbally abusive, right? Or physically abusive. There is a belief within you that believes that you should be treated like that. So your reality can only be reflected based on your own beliefs. That person might be a real nasty, miserable asshole, but there's something within you that resonates with that energy. That emotion that you feel inside, that I'm not worthy to be treated right, or that I deserve to be abused, whatever your guilt was, whatever your story is from your childhood. Most people that were abused in their childhood are abused in their adulthood. Most people, I'm not going to say most, many people that I've at least heard that were molested by parents or guardians have had trouble with that in their life later on, whether they were raped or they were also severely abused sexually later on in life, or they become sex workers. It's all within our consciousness. All of our struggles in life are rooted in our own consciousness and can never be caused. That's the most important thing. Our misery can never be caused by something or someone outside of ourselves. If we're in a poor relationship, if we're still stuck in a family situation where, people just cross over your boundaries all the time, the only reason that can continue is because you have the belief within yourself that you deserve that type of treatment. That is it. So again, the quote, everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of his human freedoms, which is to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. Because your attitude turns into an emotion. And then again, your emotion turns into energy that's in motion. So if you one day decide you're going to stand up for yourself, you're not going to allow someone to treat you like this anymore, you're not going to allow someone to be nasty to you or anything like that, and all of a sudden you create these boundaries, those people will push back. Those people will say you're not the same anymore. Those people are saying you're not nice anymore, right? But the reality is, when you shift your energy and emotion, that energy then becomes a motion, and then people reflect that back to you. Either people that no longer are in that, or while you're not in that lower vibration anymore, you're going to start to elevate a little bit. And either the people that were treating you like shit are now going to reflect back to you how you really feel about yourself, which is like, I'm worthy of being treated well. And they're going to shift with you, or they're going to vibrate out of your life. But we have to be strong enough to let them go if that's the case. I'm still healing from my childhood, but I can still help others through or despite my woundedness. Julie said that. So how true is that though? Like, we can help other people so easily see their shit. But when it comes to us, it takes a lifetime. And she said, I'm still healing from my childhood. I think all of us will always be still healing indefinitely. That there's so many layers to the amount of healing we all need to do that it's never ending. And that you think that this layer of your childhood is finally over and finally out in the open, and I'm, changing this and I'm shifting this. But then there's another layer underneath of that one. And then there's another layer underneath of that one. It just depends on how deeply you really want to be free from all the things that you feel. I have not lived my life blessed on that view. What view? I don't think this is true for everyone. I was hurt as a young child, but I've lived my life. Oh, I have lived my life. You have or you haven't lived your life based on that view. The amount of suffering or satisfaction we experience daily is completely dependent on our current state of consciousness. Let's read that again. The amount of suffering or satisfaction we experience on a daily basis is completely dependent on our current state of consciousness. And again, you can shift your state, which means what? What's my state? Let's just give an example. You can walk into your bedroom, that's considered one state. And then you walk out of your bedroom and you open the door to go into your living room, that's another state. So that's your state of mind. If your current state is I'm not worthy and I'm not chosen, but you're like, you know what? I'm tired of this shit. I'm going to close the door to that reality and I'm going to open another door. I'm going to open another door that says I'm worthy and I'm going to be treated like a fucking queen or a king. Those are different states. You cannot, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago, you can't live in two states at the same time. You can't live in the state of I'm worthy and I'm fabulous and I'm all these things, and then 10 minutes later you're like, I wish that I had a better job. I really need a new car. We can't live in two states at the same time. So what is going to manifest is your dominant state of mind or being. Are you spending time in the room that you hate seeing? Or are you spending more time in the new room that has all these pretty things and beautiful flowers and plants and whatever shit you want to put in there? Where are you living most? So, the amount of suffering or satisfaction we experience daily is completely dependent upon our state of consciousness, which can heal, transform, and evolve at any time. It's up to us. My 85-year-old father is visiting me currently. I realize as he grows older that my blaming my parents for my own stupid projections. And I don't think you should be hard on yourself with saying your own projections, because a lot of our programming did come from our parents. I'm not saying that you should blame them and say that they're horrible people, but whatever happens to us in our childhood, unfortunately, as adults, it's our responsibility to then fix it. Figure out where it comes from. Figure out where I amness comes from. Maybe your father being with you is allowing you to figure out what your I amness is. Why do I feel like this? Maybe being around your father will explain to you why you're in the state of consciousness that you're in. So maybe it's happening for that reason. Oh, I have not let that guide my life. While it has affected my relationships, I have never hurt anyone the way I was hurt as a child. That's amazing, because I think a lot of people aren't strong enough to realize that their childhood is the reason why that they project outwardly to people and treat them in the ways that they do. True freedom and lasting happiness are realized through the internal transcendence of limiting themes of consciousness. Unfortunately, not understanding this powerful truth has caused the vast majority of us to tirelessly strive to attain happiness externally. There's no such thing. Joe, I got about 2 hours of sleep too. Joe Biden can live in different states. Joe Biden's not even alive. That's another story. Wait, unfortunately, not understanding this has caused us to tirelessly strive to attain happiness externally. There's no such thing. Childhood is where you have to go if you want to heal. Exactly. Happiness starts within. It doesn't matter what kind of car you drive. It doesn't matter what kind of house you're in. You're going to keep chasing after all these things out here that are material bullshit. And you're never going to find true happiness. You're going to chase it your whole life. Once you have that nice car that you wanted, okay, that doesn't do anything. You're happy for 5 minutes. Oh, I just got these new shoes. Doesn't even make you happy at all. Happiness comes from within. And too many people, unfortunately, don't understand that. And they continue to search for different people, different places, behind every corner, behind every door. They're looking for happiness, but it starts within yourself. I've known so many men in my life that use women for sex because it gives them moments of feeling something, because they don't feel it within themselves. So they're always looking. You're never going to be enough for that person. The next person that's amazing and perfect and beautiful and just great is not going to be enough for that person. Happiness is our own duty to fulfill, not anyone else. People can always be additions to your happiness, but they can't be the reason for it. And that's all an inside job. Whether it be through seeking accolades such as accumulating wealth, taking exotic trips, becoming famous, earning titles and ranks within our careers, or fantasizing about the ideal relationship, all searches ultimately stem from the root or desire to be loved, happy, and free. And while success, relationships, and achievements can absolutely be fulfilling experiences for the soul in and of themselves, they do not have the power to give us our desired joy. Hence, we have reports of many wealthy and famous figures throughout history publicly sharing the realization that even at the top, loneliness and sadness prevail, as there is still a missing piece to the puzzle. Quote, happiness does not come from the consumption of things. I wish I could staple that on a few people's foreheads. But there's a lot of people that'll never get it. Let me say, once you do your deepest work and heal, it is easier to manifest happiness. Did I miss something? I don't know. Maybe I did. Yeah, so Rude Awakening. I'm actually just going to read from her part in the journal. Again, this is Love More, my manifestation journal. So we didn't really get into Lindsay's Rude Awakening. We talked about her her chart that she has here, but we didn't actually get into what it is that she talks about. Let me see what time it is. Okay, cool. As we listen to ourselves, we will see, feel, hear the places that are hurting. And this is a lot of the reason. God, can I just shut up for a second? Sorry. This is a lot of the reason why people are afraid to be alone. This is a big reason why people refuse to be alone. Like, people can only be alone for like an hour or two, then they got to go out, they got to distract themselves, they got to go mow the lawn, I got to go out into the garden, I got to go take out the trash, I got to go to the store. People are afraid. I would like to staple it on some people's foreheads. I really would. People are afraid of themselves. As we listen to ourselves, we will see, feel, and heal and hear the places that are hurting. People don't want to do that shit. That's the hard work, is actually looking inside yourself to say, wow, I feel X, Y, and Z. I'm hurt, right? Many are not human beings. They are humans wanting. Hey, I like that. Many are not human beings. They are humans wanting. I like that. This is suffering caused by a part of us that was once abandoned, rejected, afraid, and alone. Or old beliefs or programs we once held as truth. That inner child lost connection with its divine truth of oneness and has been trapped in an illusion of separation, or sometimes referred to as trauma. An experience when you had a physical, emotional, or spiritual trauma that has held a low frequency or dense energy in the body that now causes triggers, illness, and undesired realities. So much of what we do is an autopilot from this place without intention. So when you come across a person that no matter what you say to them, they're mean or nasty, or they always have an attitude, or they're always miserable, or they always see things from a negative space, it's because these people are on autopilot. They don't even know where their intent is coming from. They don't even realize the way that they react to things. Most people will cause an absolute mess and throw shit everywhere, leave, and then when you react to their mess, then they blame you and say that you're the crazy one because you're reacting to what they did. If they didn't act that way, we wouldn't be able to respond that way. So when we come from a really hurt space, or we come from a rejected space, or we come from an abandoned space, or we come from an unworthy space, we can only then react from that space. Right? That's all that we can do. So if we want to manifest our greatest reality, our main priority is changing that story. So we don't come from that space, because again, the emotions that you feel, whether it's the anger, the rage, the resentment, or any of those things that we feel on a daily basis, the energy that we feel or the emotion that we feel then becomes energy that goes where? In motion. I just have to repeat this 65 times just to make sure that we get it, right? Because I know that there's some people that get it right away, and then there's some people like, I just need more examples of how to understand this. Because when I first started reading all this stuff, like especially Neville Goddard and Joseph Murphy, I was like, I don't know what's happening. And I was frustrated by it because I'm like, I want to do this work, but I don't know what they're talking about. So I just want to reiterate the same scenario about 40 times just so like it sticks. And we're like, okay, yes, I get it. So again, the energy in motion, which is our emotions. Whatever I'm feeling today, if you woke up today feeling angry, that anger is inside you. You feel it as an emotion. That emotion becomes movement. Emotion, energy in motion. That motion is vibrating in a certain wavelength. Let's just say it's a zigzag. So if your energy in motion is a zigzag, the universe can only give you back the same zigzag. But if you were vibrating, let's say, happiness today, and your vibration, energy, emotion is a wave out into the universe can only send you back that wave because you're on the same wavelength. Out of a coma after being brain dead for 23 days and realized that one can never be alone, as the whole universe is within all, but one has to and should connect with the same. I love that. Let me just see if I miss anything. Most people are autopilot. Where one's light is bright, others can take it and are nasty because they are so fractured they don't want to look at themselves. Okay. When we are still, many people don't like to be still because that's when your mind starts to talk to you. Hold a safe space, breathe, and simply ask the subconscious what it's ready to show us. The emotions, memories, feelings have an opportunity to come to the surface to be seen, heard, loved, and healed. A lot of people don't even want to be healed. A lot of people are so used to living in their own bullshit that they're uncomfortable going anywhere else. They would rather create misery for themselves. They would rather create drama. They would rather start a war within themselves or with family or with friends so that they don't have to change. There are so many people that are so comfortable in their own shit that eventually, if you're working on yourselves, you're going to vibrate out of that energy very quickly because you're not going to put up with it in the way that you did before that you made boundaries for yourself, before that you've done this work to heal. You'll accept that type of treatment. You'll accept a person not wanting to work on themselves. And why is that fair to you to be stuck in the energy of someone who doesn't want to change when you've worked so hard to change? We can't change other people. We can only hope that maybe our work, our self-work, influences other people to do the same. But we can't change other people. The road less traveled is the one we are on here in this group. 100%. 100%. Okay, we are the miraculous position to be completely present with the self in this moment in time. In our presence, in this now, we are aligned to unconditional love and truth, which is oneness. We are showing that illusion of separation. We are showing that illusion of separation in the light. We are embracing that inner child, providing the divine mother, father love. Parts of us that were once trapped in hell in our mind are now being shown heaven and losing that illusion. So that's the truth. We create heaven and hell. And there's so many things and parts of my own reality that are being shattered. You know, our whole lives we were taught heaven is up there, hell is down there. Heaven and hell are right here. We get to create that feeling. Heaven is a feeling or a vibration or a frequency, and so is hell. So decide where we want to live for the time being while we're here. But I also believe that when you go to the other side, there's a freedom that we don't have here. So I believe that heaven and hell are a state of being, but I also believe that there is another place that we go to that our soul has freedom. Because we're not in a physical body there. We're energy, right? We're deciding what we want to experience in another lifetime. At least that's what I believe. After the root is shown and finds its true awakening, the domino effect begins to happen. Sometimes the physical issues begin to disappear, the triggers are gone, and every trapped emotion that was related to that particular root is gone. Not only this, but your body is alchemizing all that energy to a higher frequency, creating a new reality in a higher timeline. Kat, I am the creator of my reality. Because we all really are. If you want to live in heaven, you get to choose that. If you want to live in hell, you also get to choose that. Thoughts become reality. They do. But we get to choose our heaven or hell every single day. What do you want to make? What do you want to make of this life and experience here? Is the question, because we have and hold the key to that answer. Right? Our divine purpose on this earth, I read this last week. Our divine purpose on this earth is to be a vessel for more light and love. Our divine purpose on this earth is to be a vessel for more light and love. But with what is going on in the world right now, many people have a war consciousness, which I talked in my video last night. So people don't want to be more light and love. They want to be at war because they're at war with themselves. That's only a programming too. War is a programming. What do you think would happen if so right now it's like the majority is like, has this war consciousness and victim mentality. I'll show it again. Map of consciousness. Many people right now, because this has been basically a prison planet for a long time, are in the survival paradigm, right? Survival paradigm, there's shame, guilt, anger, rage, I think maybe, fear, desire, anger, pride. So all those are considered being in the survival paradigm. But what would happen if instead of most people being in the survival paradigm, my bangs are driving me crazy today. What if most of us realized what our purpose is to be a vessel for more light and love, and we were able to bring more light and love to this realm? Do you think if all of us knew that our mission and our purpose was to bring more light and love, that war can exist? The answer to that is no. If all of us collectively were about loving each other and bringing more light and releasing things, can war exist? No. So when I talk about this stuff, people that are in a state of consciousness that is war-minded, they will never agree with this. And they will continue to say really ignorant things. Let's just put it simply. Fear is false evidence appearing real. Yes. Mm-hmm. I'm just seeing if I missed anything. Not those of us here. No, I know it's not those of us here. When I explain it, I'm generalizing. Like, I'm just generalizing. I'm not saying us here. I'm saying it's a generalization. Okay. We have unlimited capacity for unconditional love, but parts of us didn't see it yet or feel like they deserved it. It's time. Now is the time. Trust your heart. Trust the process. Trust the subconscious. Here we go. We are all made to uplift and edifying one another, to strengthen the frequency of the whole, spreading the love of life. I love that. I love it. So then she goes on to different questions and things like that. Let's just see. Okay. So we'll stop there for this morning. I intend that was helpful. And that we continue to do the inner work, because that's how we're going to shift the consciousness and frequency of the world, is by more people spreading their love, spreading their light. Because with the horrible things that are going on in the world, what are we doing to stop that? What can we do to stop that? There isn't much when you are faced with nuclear weapons and things like that, and bombs and all these other things, right? So the only choice that we do really have, oh, you were agreeing with me. Okay. Love you too. Sometimes I miss the comments. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. So Lulu Bell, change ourselves. Work on your own backyard. That is the choice that we do have. People say that's spiritual bypassing. So what exactly do you think, what change do you think that you are making by constantly spreading, watching people be blown up, watching horrible things happen to people? What is that doing? It's bringing awareness to what's going on. Where has awareness gotten us when it comes to things like war? I can agree that sharing information about vaccinations and all those things, it gives people at least a choice. Okay, I learned this information and I know that this can happen, but I'm going to make the choice A or B. When it comes to things of war, go clean my backyard. I'm going to clean my backyard. But when it comes to situations of war, okay, we can side with innocent people. Some people still side with the government. Some people side with innocent people. But how is that changing anything? And I can't really say the things that are potentials of us to do because it would be inciting certain things. So I can't say that. But the reality is like people aren't going to do that. So what is it that we actually absolutely do have power over? The strongest weapon on earth, we ourselves have power over. And I know that you all know what that strongest weapon on earth is. Kat, you always share your love and light. I love your spirit. The most powerful weapon on earth that is stronger than an atomic bomb, that is stronger than any kind of weaponry that we have. What is that weapon? The strongest weapon on earth that we have power over. Yes, Bean Patch Kids. Our consciousness. So you're holding in your hands the strongest weapon, not really in your hands, you're holding in your being, in your humanness. You are holding together the strongest weapon on earth. Right? But yet we allow someone to toxify this. We allow propaganda to fill our mind. And then that fills our emotion, right? Because when like water said, love is the most powerful. But if our consciousness is full of trash all day long, how could we possibly radiate love? So when you have control of your consciousness, your I amness, that is when we truly win the war. Because if no one can convince you of what you should think and what you should feel and who you should side with, you're taking control of your own reality. We all have the power to literally create our own reality. Until someone comes in and spoils it, until someone comes in and programs it, until you're watching TV and you're seeing all these destructive things happening. And you're allowing someone to hijack something that belongs to you. If we allow anyone outside of us to overtake our consciousness, which has happened to all of us, we're all programmed. We're programmed from our parents, we're programmed from our teachers, we're programmed from other kids maybe that were mean to us, we're programmed from the news, we're programmed from propaganda. Our whole lives, our whole lives, we have allowed other people to rule and to take over our greatest asset and weapon, which is our human consciousness. So if you take that back for yourself and you really work on it, you will then project a reality that is so valuable and so precious and so amazing to you. Brainwashing of those in power is intended to destroy our imagination and stopping the frequency of love that is inside all of us. We need to take back control. Love y'all. Love you back. So I hope that you guys have an amazing, amazing day and that we take back control of our reality. Because every single last one of us can take back our reality. You just have to believe that you can. You have to want to do the work. That's it. That's simple. Done. What does this say? Love more. That's it. You got this. Love the universe. That's it. If that's all that you take with you today, greetings, greetings. So guys, have a beautiful day. I love you all, and I'll see you all this week.